Greetings, Agency Accelerator Tribe. Nice to see you all again. Today, our topic is the top 5 challenges marketers need to watch out for in 2019. So, we all know that we're going to learn a lot this morning. And we also know that 2019 is just a month away. And the future that everyone was talking about in the early 2000s is really already here. We have bots being personal assistants, we have AI dictating advertisement bidding, and we have search engines trying to be more human. However, for marketers, the challenges haven't disappeared. They've just shifted from the mundane, like getting stuff done fast enough and scaling, to the more exotic, like optimizing something that's already been optimized. Today's Agency Accelerator episode is for you if you're the reflective kind and wondering what you should be focusing on in 2019. I'm pleased to have Roger Ruttimann, the CTO of Reactful, here with us today. He's in a unique position to help. He lives and breathes AI. He's a machine learning whiz and understands the perspective of the C-suite. And today, he's going to share the challenges down the road for marketers, plus the big opportunities that these present. So if you're ready to think outside the box, do stick around. Hi, Roger. Nice to see you.
Hi, Morgan. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for working on our Eastern time zone and getting to work. It looks like a sunny day there today.
Yeah. Okay.
Excellent. So I'm just going to hand this over to Roger in just a minute. But before that, if you're a devoted member of the tribe, you'll know that the replay will hit your inbox in about 24 to 36 hours. We do love questions, so use the chat box and keep them coming. Roger will take those questions at the end of his presentation. So that's all I have. Roger, the webinar is yours. Let's learn something fun today.
Okay, thank you, Morgan. Thanks for the introduction, and I'm pleased to share the information and some vision that we have about the marketers' challenges for next year. Let me share the presentation. Let's get going. So yeah, the topic for today, as we said, is the challenges the marketers face for 2019, right? But challenges are opportunities as well, because it's a crowded market that we know, and everybody tries to find the niche. And again, I think we are in a unique, we have unique opportunities to really address some of the challenges. So again, just myself, I'm Roger Ruttimann, the CTO of Reactful. I've been with the company for 1.5 years. We are based in the Bay Area and in Santa Barbara. We are really focusing on engaging, converting users on real time on your website. And again, thanks for Morgan as our host from Convert to host this series. So let's dive into the challenges. So we identified 5 challenges. I go through each of these challenges, show the opportunities, and then have some examples how to address them and how you can make headways by addressing these challenges. So data and content management, that's a big thing, right? Your web content design, you have to have nicer design, engaging designs with your end users. You have to find your target users. You have to find the content that they stay on the website, because companies spend a lot of money to drive all users to the website, and then you have to keep them on the website. So web content, it's one thing that you have. Figuring out what's the best design on your website. You have to do experimentation and variations of different designs and test it at real time with the users to see what engages them, what they stay longer, they'll read more information about your product, your offerings, your services, etc. So keeping users on your website is really the primary goal. And then engagement on overall user experience. It's really like you want to engage the users, you want to keep them on the site. If they are confused or don't know how to continue, you help them to stay on your website so that they really convert as a user. Convert can be that they buy something, that they download the white paper, sign up for a webinar, give the lead information, etc. So what are the opportunities here? So it's really the real-time interventions. That's you detect what they are doing, and then you change the content of your website at real time depending on what the user is doing, how the user is behaving. The other big thing, it's a real-time personalized content, so that if you can figure out what the user background is, what they have done, inject that information as well and really personalize the content. So then they feel more comfortable, they feel more engaged with your website and stay there. So again, Convert and Reactful, the combination there really helps you in this web content generation, but as well then with the real-time interventions, personalized content, etc. Personalization, right? That's what I said before. It's like the right message, the right time for the right person. That's really what you want to have, right? You want to keep them on your website. You want to engage with them. What are the opportunities? Behavior-driven engagement. So that's where Reactful is coming from, and I have more details later. It's like, what's the right now behavior of the user on your website, right? Every day you behave a little bit different on the website. If you're stressed, if you're confused, you have an interest, you hesitate, you have a different behavior on the website. Detecting that and changing the content depending on your behavior, it's really key for engagement. So that it's not static, that it's not locked. So it's really dynamic and follows your mood, what we say as well. And then, of course, the data-driven personalization. There's a lot going on there. That there are APIs there are tools there that can give you additional information that's really personalized of the users that are on the website. So the combination of behavior-driven engagement and data-driven personalization really personalize the whole web experience. And that you get the right message, right time for the right person. So it looked like the website was designed for you. And then, of course, the personalization have so many integrations, right? There are many tools out there. There are many tools for content. There are many tools for data. And you have to combine and integrate them seamlessly, right? You want to use the best tool for the task. So video, it's a big trend right now. More and more websites have video, but you want to interact with the videos. You want to detect when the video starts and stops, when the user pauses, if a user moves away from a video, etc. So that's the kind of thing that you want to track on your website, and then again react and engage with the user based on that. And then the data management platforms, the DMPs, it's like they have information about your history, your location, which company you belong to, whatever. There are so many services out there, it's almost impossible to say what it is. But the important thing is like integrating the data management data and then personalize the third-party content into your web platform. It's very important. So what's the opportunities there? It's like leverage the data for smart decisions, right? Display another video, display more text, less text, more images, bring them directly to the sign-up page, depending what they are doing. So that's the kind of things that the more tools you have, the more you fine-tune these tools, the better you can engage with them and guide them through the process. Again, you need more analytics because you have more tools. You need more analytics to see which tool works in what. How can you adjust the tool? How can you reconfigure the tool that you really get the best results out of it? So you need the analytics on top of it. And then, of course, because there are so many specialized integration and tools available, you cannot operate in a silo. So you have to integrate open APIs, open data exchange. It's really key to make it successful. So on the side, it's just a couple of APIs that are available. But integrating with all of them, it's really key, and there are much more. This is just a subset. There are literally hundreds of tools available to give you information, integrations, etc., that you can then leverage on your website. So that said, I want to go for these three first challenges. Use a use case, and it's with MongoDB. It's well recognized, the NoSQL database. They use a lot of tools, a lot of different integrations, and I just want to use how they leverage Convert and Reactful and other tools to optimize their website, to optimize their customer engagement. So one key is like you want to do continuous improvement to figure out which one is the best to engage with users. What they did here on the original web page, they had the button here, Get Started Free, and they said, hey, we should change it to Learn More. That's probably better. It's more engaging. It's not as aggressive. So, but before they want to make the change, they want to verify it, A/B test, experiment with that, maybe with the placement, etc., before they make the decision to push it out. And on top of that, they want to promote conferences that are based on location. So they have now many conferences in North, South America, in Europe, Asia. So they want to make sure if somebody goes on the website, they get the invitation and the dates and all that for the conferences only if they are in the right location. So these were the two things that, how did they do that? So here, maybe a lot of you know the Convert tool, that you set up an experimentation. You have the original page, and you have then the modified page. You run it over a couple of days. You look at the conversion rate, and to surprise, the Learn More was much worse than the original one. Get it for free. So that they were glad that they did the experimentation, they checked it out, because then they said it's like, even it seems like a good idea, we shouldn't do it because it lowers the engagement, before they really rolled out the whole website change and website update. So this is a continuous verification, testing of your message, testing of your web content. It's necessary. And again, with Convert, it's a great tool to do that continuously. So then here's, again, we see the website that they have. So Get Started for Free, they left it on this one. And here it's like the reaction that comes in from Reactful. If you're on the site, if you show interest, and if you are from Europe, then you get this message, there's an upcoming conference on MongoDB, sign up, register here, right? If you're in the US or if you're in South America, you don't see the message because the conference is later. So it's all personalized to engage with the users only when it's significant for them. And how do we do that? You see here, you create the reaction, and then you say only United Kingdom, Germany, and France should see it, because that's the target group that did in their persona. So these two combinations, again, it's like a continuous testing and verification of your website and tracking then the traffic, and really create personalized data and personalized engagement. While the overall layout and the navigation you do with testing just buttons, call to actions, etc. Another use case was like information delivery and engagement. So again, they did the design of the website for the sign up, Get Started for Free. That was the second level. They want to make sure that people complete the form here. So that the right information there, they verified that all the information is here, that you are ready to sign up. But people maybe do the email address and don't do the first name and last name. So you want to really test that they complete this form, because that's, once they get here, you really want to make sure that they complete the transaction, they get started for free, they start the instance and test it out, so that then they are in their prospect list. So what at Reactful, what we do a form leaf around this one to check, to really engage with you, that you stay in there. And then, of course, we do the analytics to see how well that works. Do people complete it or they abandon it, and so on? And then you can then see which fields fail to complete, or if they abandon it, or etc. And then based on this one, you go and refine what kind of interaction you want to do here on this form. This is just one example for forms. to do engagement, to keep the people on the page. Once again, this is the second level to go through, and here you really want to convert them, that they press the button down here and go get started for free, but they have the complete information. So again, this is the interaction between convert on the top level for the web content and all the details, and then Reactful to really interact at real time to make sure that the user completes this one with interaction. If you go in and complete everything, you would never see any interactions with Reactful. If you stop in the middle, you abandon a page, etc., then we interact and tell you, hey, please just provide the first and the last name and then get started for free, etc. So these were just two examples for use cases for using the web content and personalization. The big challenges, as Morgan mentioned, it's like the AI and the machine learning, because that's a big factor coming in, right? We get more and more data. Data is everything. Data is really the value of the company, right? What you can add. So there's a lot of data there, but the challenge is really to visualize the data, tracking all the data from all the tools that's flowing into your system and make sense out of it, and use AI and machine learning to really mine the data and make intelligent decisions, because it's so much data manually, it's impossible to find. Even if you have a nice dashboard that shows you all the details, to make then a decision on the dashboard at any moment, it's really hard. So AI and machine learning can really help. So what are the opportunities? Of course, that's the big, what I would say, the gold rush. Now it's going to build AI and machine learning models that you can use and customize and really optimize for your use case. But the challenge there, again, the opportunity, it's a continuous training of machine learning models to be more accurate. The more data you have over time, you improve the accuracy of the results that you have, that the assistance, the help. So it gets better and better. So the recommendation engine gets better and better the more data you have. So, but you need a continuous training of this module. So it's a whole process, and I go into the details later. And of course, the great opportunity is like you can then, for each customer, you can almost create a model custom for them. And that's huge. That can be for larger companies, that can be huge, because then they get an advantage that says, on our website, we have all the data. We have the behavior data on our side. We know how people interact there. Create a machine learning model to better interact of that, exactly the type of our application of our website for our customers. And by region, right now you can go to all the detail. You can do it with machine learning. And the technologies today are here. You can do that. You can highly automate that process. It's not a simple step, but that's the trend, and the tools get better and better. Of course, then here comes back. It's like, yes, you have more tools, you have more data, you have more processing power, but customers get, or website visitors get more demanding. So you have to really be able to adjust the content, the engagement, the navigations of your website. When you see a trend, you see some events happen, you really want to adjust quickly without long development cycles. So you want to do that, you can do code change or website changes without coding. That's really the key. Update the content, have the engagement. It can be manual or automatic. That's where the machine learning comes in. The more and more you automate there, then the better it gets. The navigation to your site, and again, with the A/B testing, with Convert, it's really what you would do. You want to do more campaigns, outreach events. So quick changes to your websites are necessary. You want to promote a webinar next week. You want to promote another meetup meeting that's in LA on Friday. You want to do that on your website because you have already, you drive your users to your website. You want to have them see the information. You want to have it personalized. So this is all the tools that you have to integrate and make sure they work together. So important for that, the opportunity is like have analytics available immediately. Which campaign works, which doesn't work, what other adjustments you might do, right? You see certain regions don't react well to some campaigns. If you then change the content, you change the color, you change the placement, and then you see immediately there's a change there, you know you're on the right track. All that should be possible to do without going in and coding and redesign and retesting of the website, because you know that takes weeks, and then you lose the momentum that you might have about a certain trend or certain announcements that were done. What's really important is that you have a recommendation engine that then tells you as well, it's like this type of interaction, this content works best. And then you can then more base your templates on this one, the recommendation engine, what works best, and then use that more, and then fine tune it again on your website easily without, again, any code changes and updates. So again, I cannot repeat enough, but the AI and machine learning, you have to automate that. That's key, because there's so much data. To manage it manually, it's impossible. And you have to have some automation in place. And the machine learning and AI, there are tools, learning tools around that you can use and leverage. Here's an example that how we do it in Reactful. You do the configuration, then you do the user behavior configuration, you provide the content, and then you have the analytics and the dashboard to see how well it works. You have the recommendation engine, and then you go back and refine it. What you really want to do, and that's the trend in general, it's like replace the piece in the middle. It's like take the guesswork out of the equation. Make sure that what you say, you provide the content, and that's all what you have to provide. And then on your website, the AI machine learning then interacts and presents the right content at the right time to the right user. That's what you want to go, because the complexity, especially if you have international websites, gets huge, and it's almost impossible to different variations of content delivery, right? Because the location, it's big. Then as well, the preferences about colors and layouts and placements and logos, etc. So why don't you have all the machine learning and AI in the middle that takes all these parameters in account and decides at what point to present the content. Still, the marketers have to provide the content, because that's key. They know what's the best content, what message, etc. they want to present, but the framework on delivering the content is all AI and machine learning. And still, you have the analytics and the dashboard as well to see if that really works. And you can then go back in the semi-manual way if certain things don't work well, or the machine learning didn't pick up the right trend. So that should be still possible, but the 80% or even more should be manual, because it's like the usual thing that people abandon the website, or the jump, the exit, or the abandon the form, or they stay idle, and so on. So for that could be all automated to detect that early. So here comes the other topic. That's the big thing. If you look at the number of conferences, number of meetups, etc., it's building your AI machine learning pipeline. So today you have to use cloud services to build a delivery pipeline. Because again, it's so much data, there are so many steps involved in that to really build it. And of course, it's not easy. I just have here the one example. It's Google Cloud. What they promote to say is like, this is the whole pipeline. This is the whole training thing that you have to build. It looks complex, but again, if you start automating this process, then this is highly abstracted. So there are tools there. Before it was manual programming at every step. Now you really can do the event data, the raw data, and then it goes to the certain steps, train and serve the models. That's really then that hooks into your application. And then again, the retraining goes to the same thing to build your backend data pipeline. But once you have that set up in your environment, then you're good, because you can create numerous models and then change something. So here it could be an arrow like 10 arrows, because you want to have different models by customer, etc. So as you can see, it's like a lot of services stay the same, but at the end, it's like this is the model, right? The models that you want to train and serve. That's where you really form out and can then serve every customer, even for your internal, if you have it by industry, if you have it by company, etc. You have models that you want to use for your engagement. That's what you can do. But again, it's complex. You have to set it up and really watch the data, clean up the data along the way. But once you have that process in place, you're ready to go and can scale, because it's all in the cloud. There's no limit to how far you can go with scaling. And by the way, for Amazon AI, it looks pretty similar. So there's not much difference. Once you understand the process, how to do it, the framework doesn't really matter. So these were like the 5 points I wanted to bring up for the challenges. So here we come to the conclusion part. So what does it mean? It's really like managing marketing platform, right? Integrations, AI, ML, and dashboards are key. Continuous refinement of the web content. We talked about, we have to do that, right? You have to adjust and see what works best. Do A/B testing continuously, look at the engagement, see what works, what doesn't work. Collect the data, you have to analyze it, aggregate the data, combine it with all the data sources that you have, and analyze and then make decisions about how to update your website, your web content, your engagement, your navigation on the website. So it's a continuous process. So, and again, leveraging AI and ML, it's with the amount of data that you collect, you cannot do it manually. You have to have some sort of machine learning and AI in your product. Here's just an example of a typical MarTech engagement platform, right? You have all these tools up and down. So there are just some examples. And then again, each of them has a database, has an API, collects data. What you really want to do is like get all the data in, do the data analytics with machine learning, and then have in the dashboard all the information that you need to refine, then going back to the stack and see how I want to use the tools, how I configure each of these tools in interaction with all the tools. Because again, this is the silo thing. You cannot just have a Reactful, you cannot just have a 6 Sense here and configure it. It's a combination of all these tools that make you successful. So really managing your marketing platform, it's key. And you cannot, there's not just one tool that does it for you. You have multiple tools. So the integration is key. The data analytics, most likely with machine learning in the middle, really helps you then to aggregate the data and understand the data, analyze the data, that you can then go back and adjust it. So this is really the daily process that gets more and more refined. And now more and more tools are integrated. As I said, every tool has an API, which is really key as well. That's a trend that any tool needs to have an API to read data and to write out data into another system so that you can really exchange. And then a tool is successful. You can exchange data, you can analyze all the data, and then do what's significant to the changes that your web offering is successful. The other thing, it's like so many tools are out there. So select a tool that fits your budget. That's important. That fits your need and fits your budget, right? That's really key. So just as an example, Convert, it's really the Convert.com, we use that for the information architecture. That's really good to create the layout, the web content, the navigation, and then do the A/B testing that you have the right content. Reactful on top of that, it's experience architecture, how we call it, the timely call to actions. So we intervene when the behavior, based on the behavior, to engage with the customer. So again, it could be that you see the website the way that it was originally designed, and you never see any interaction because you follow the pattern that the original designer of the website had in mind. But most of the time, again, your mood changes, your different stress levels. You go in and don't find content, so you change your behavior. Reactful detects behavior and then engages with you, has the call to actions presented to you that gives a good experience through your website. So the combination of two things are really important. And again, both tools help you to update, change, make changes, test changes, verify, have the analytics available. So it's really, my last point was like making changes quickly without any programming and update the content quickly. It's really key, right, to respond to the demand. So what Conrad and Reactful has, it's like they offer everything and they are complementary. And if you optimize it in Convert and optimize it in Reactful, and together you get a bigger lift. So they have to work together. Again, competing with the big solutions, they say they can do everything. That's probably true, but not as agile and as quickly and at the low cost that like a Convert and the Reactful can do it for really optimized web experience. So this is the conclusion of the whole presentation. I went to the 5 challenges: data, content management, personalization, integration, automations, and the flexibility of tools. So I think it's now a good moment to take questions and answer questions that the audience might have.
Hi, Roger. Thank you for that. That was really interesting. There was a lot of detail that goes into that whole process that I wasn't aware of. So I'm sure that will be a big learning. Mm-hmm. I have a few questions here I'll get you warmed up with. So one of the questions that one of our tribe members had asked previously was what tips do you have for someone who is just starting out with optimizing the information architecture of their website?
So what an important thing is like that you define the goals, right? What's the main purpose of your website, right? What you want to deliver there, right? What's the main topic? Is it for B2B? Is it e-commerce? Is it a combination, right? And then defining what's the audience. Then go into the audience, figure out what's the audience, and then start customizing and what content you want to present to the audience, and how do you want to engage with them. So it's really laying out, defining the audience, the target customers, and what the goal of your website is.
Okay. And someone else's question was so machine learning has turned into a big buzzword, which you had also talked about in your presentation. How do I choose a software that actually makes great use of machine learning or AI? Because I guess the concern is that, a lot of companies are saying and using these words, but how do we know?
It's all the analytics, right? If they have to show, so yeah, everybody today says they do AI machine learning, right? They have that built into their platform. But you can always challenge them and say, so show me the results, show me the evidence that's with machine learning it's better, and why is it different? Why does it work better? Why do you say it's machine learning it's better? Mm-hmm. So what we see at Reactful, that we can say that because it's so much data that comes in when a user is on the website, mm-hmm. and to make the right decision at the right time to engage with the user, you need really a brain behind, or the machine learning and the experience to do that. And that's the evidence, and you can show it's like, look, with Reactful or without Reactful, these are the differences of users going to your website. So if then others are as well as say the machine learning, then ask about what makes it better. Do you have any evidence that can show that the machine learning makes a difference, and why? Why do you say it makes a difference? Is it so much data? Is it the detection of patterns that you normally wouldn't see because it's in the noise, etc.? So you can really challenge them each time they say we do machine learning and AI. You say how and what's the evidence.
Okay, I like that. So you referred to timely interventions through a platform like Reactful for user engagement. My question to you would be, when can these become too much. And I'm kind of thinking of like the pop-ups of the
Yeah, yeah.
early internet days. Like, what do we know that we've gone too far here?
Right. So we learned a lot, right, over the years since Reactful it's in business. We learned a lot about limiting the number of interventions, like to call it, right? You don't want to have too much, right? There's a way, but again, it depends on use case to use case. So you have what we offer. It's a configuration that you say how many interventions, overlay, pop-ups, interventions you want to have per session, or is it just the first one you want to have one, etc. So there's a way then to tune it to the right level. But of course, less it's better. So here's the thing, that you wait longer to really interact with the user, that you're sure, and then present the right message. And not to every user that gets to the website gets a big pop-up and say, you want to subscribe. It says like, I don't even know what I subscribe to. Give me more information. So you do it later, and that's the information architecture. You're interested in reading, you read about the product, about the release, then it's the right moment to interact with them and present this, do you want to sign up? So you have less, more targeted, again, based on their behavior, what they have done, and some other personalization input, if you have it available.
Okay, so less is more to start?
Yes, and better, right? Engage better with content that you say, wow, yes, I want to subscribe, and yes, I want to go to the next webinar, and not seeing the first thing you want to go to the webinar and you don't know yes or no, right? So you're undecided. So wait longer, see what the pattern is, and that's where the AI comes in, what the pattern is of the user on the website, and then engage with the right content to really win them over.
Yeah, and I think it goes to your point you mentioned about having a really global market or user base, that you're really talking about all these different kind of cultural norms or marketing, human traits that we look at in marketing. So where the button is, what color it is, all those kinds of things. So you're really talking about a lot of information too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That becomes important, right? Because you cannot decide, right? If the marketer sits in North America and has to design a website for India, it's like there's a lot of information they don't have available. So if the machine has it, then can help you and assist you make the right choices.
Interesting. Okay, so what's the difference between your approach of independent optimization of information and engagement architecture as opposed to traditional CRO, where we aim to improve conversions by making any change deemed necessary?
So again, we go back, it's like the flexibility and to really personalize how you want to intervene, right? If you do it in the traditional way, it's like you had the one solution that had to fit for all the visitors, and you had to code some differences. If you said, okay, we want to do a logged in user or returning user, we make it a little bit different, but you had to lay it out, all the architecture, right? And then you run it, and then when you figure out, oh, there's something wrong, or it's not a good engagement, you had to go back and change your code. With our overlays, like you can then adjust it and fine-tune it independently of your whole layout, that you have to do code changes, and as well adjust just subparts if it's necessary, or just change or add some more interaction. It says, oh, we forgot about that this like returning users, we want to have a different message than for a new user, or somebody from this location, we want to have something different showing there as well, or making reference to a current event that happened in the region.
I like that. Yeah.
That type of things that you want to do as an overlay and not in the overall main layout of your website. So you need the flexibility on top to do that.
Interesting. Okay, so before we sign off for today, what can you leave us with in terms of your kind of top best practices around incorporating AI into marketing?
So the first thing is like choose the tool that fits your demands, right? What you want to achieve, right? You define a goal. You said, okay, that's what we want to do. Then look for the tools that do that, and ignore for now. It's whatever they say. Oh, we do all that, right? You pick the tool that you want to have, and then you see how can we integrate that into our application. How can it how does it fit in our tool set, right, or the stack? What is, and then make sure that it works seamlessly together, so that you don't have to do too many exceptions, because when you go into the exceptions, it gets complicated and hard to maintain. So choose the best tool that fits your budget, and then integrate it. If the integration fails, it's like choose a different tool, right? Because probably it's too aggressive and so on. So that's the type of thing. So
Keep it simple. Keep it simple.
Yeah, keep it simple. Use the tools that you're comfortable with, and don't follow the sirens too much.
Don't get distracted with the bright, shiny objects.
Yeah. Because everybody tells you everything, right? But if you are focused on the goals that you want to achieve, and and find a tool that fits your needs, stick with that and integrate it.
Perfect. Those are some great parting words of wisdom for sure. Well, I want to thank you very much, Roger, today for joining us and sharing your experience with the group. And we look forward to working with you in the future.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Thank you for the opportunity to.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
You'll see the replay in your inbox shortly. Thanks again. See you next time.